Hello? Can you guys hear me? So if you can, let me know if the audio is all right. All right, so you can start posting your questions and I'll try and go through them as best as I can. So also let me know how the quality of the stream is. All right, so let me know if the audio quality is better now. All right, nice. We've got a good list of questions now, so we can begin. So the first question is, how did I learn to hack? Education or self-learning? Well, in terms of hacking, I learned that I taught myself all the basics and the fundamentals of hacking, and I really did not go for any certifications in the beginning. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got started. I started off with Linux, and I also started off with Linux and networking, and then moved on from there. All right, let me just check the other questions. Apologies for the stream, guys. All right, so the second question is, what programming language will you recommend me to start at Upworks? All right, so I'm guessing you want to be a freelancer. If you want to be a freelancer, I would recommend obviously learning some full stack web development, or learning a stack, that is, not really a full stack, becoming a full stack developer. It all depends on what you enjoy doing, but usually with freelance websites, it all deals with a lot of web services, and I've seen a few .NET projects as well. Yeah, so that's what I would recommend. All right, have I ever programmed in Java? Yes, I have programmed in Java. In fact, that was one of the languages that I have developed in professionally. So I've developed a few programs, commercial programs in Java. So I have some good experience with Java. All right. Let's see. Apologies if I'm not pointing directly at the camera. I'm just trying to look at the questions here. All right, so we got another question here. We have bug bounty. I'm not too sure what that means. If you could elaborate a bit further. Is it necessary to learn a Python programming language for hacking? The answer is no, you don't need to learn Python, but it is recommended so that you have a better understanding and so that you can create your own tools. Hello, Mr. GFY. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Let's see, there are a lot of comments coming in, so please do bear with me as I just try and answer all of them. Yes, that's a very good response there. Learn Bash, simple, powerful, and clean syntax. And then we have another question here. Is being a programmer I think your question is being a programmer a prerequisite for hacking? And the answer is no. But again, it does help if you know a bit of programming languages, so that you're not just absolutely shocked as soon as you get into the industry. Let's see. How can you scan an onion router web servers using Nmap and OpenVS? That's a very good question. Well, the first thing you need to make sure you're onto is you need to make sure that you're on to the actual the onion relay. And then after you're on there, you need to configure your scanners, or to actually pass your scanners through the Tor relay. So you can either do that using proxy chains or any of the other proxifiers. We've got another question here. I'll try and answer them as quickly as possible. How can I DDoS attack? Well, I'm not too sure what your motivations are for that, but I'm guessing you want to perform a large-scale attack. Although it is quite wrong of me to actually say this. When you're trying to perform a DDoS attack, you're looking for a large-scale attack. So that means you need a distributed network of computers, or bots, as they would be called, and you need to set up a botnet that will either attack it once or will be passed through a proxifier, and that will it'll then start. You can then perform the attack from there. So it's all about getting a botnet set up. All right. So yeah, there were a few other questions that you guys had, and they were posted up when I did ask for the Q&A on Twitter. So let me just answer a few of those questions right now. So the first question was, why haven't I done a reveal of the 100,000 subscriber YouTube plaque? And the answer to that is I didn't get one. Now, I'm not really sure why I didn't get one. I haven't contacted YouTube about it, but it probably is to do with the content that I make, or the content on this channel. So yeah, I haven't got the 100 subscriber plaque, for those of you who are asking. So I'll definitely wait and see if they do send me one. If they don't, really doesn't matter. That's not really what means a lot to me. All right, let me answer some of the questions in the live stream. Do I play CTFs? Yes, I do play CTFs when I have some free time from work. So, when working on CTFs, you really need about an hour or so, or an hour or two. So I really have to schedule that time. So I play whenever I have free time. Can I make the SS7 tutorial? Yes, a lot of people have been asking me for that. I did make the video. But it wasn't in accordance with the YouTube community guidelines, so I have uploaded it to Vimeo. I'll be sharing the link shortly. I'm essentially importing or migrating some of the videos on the channel to Vimeo. All right, let's see. Will you do any Hack the Box video? Yes, I have been making Hack the Box videos. Again, it's just about time. I do have some free time at the moment, so I'll be trying to make as many videos as I can. All right. Will you do any OSCP training, or are you on Udemy? That's a very good point, and many of you have been asking me why I haven't been uploading, or why my videos haven't been consistent, or my uploading has been consistent. The reason is I've been working on a new platform for the channel, and I'll be releasing it later on, probably at the beginning of March. So I'll be releasing that. That essentially has training for all these programs and additional programming programs. So we have programming programs, and we then have network programs. We take you through the Network Plus certification, etc. All right, let's see. Can you do live hacking? Yes, I am planning to do more of the live streams. So I think I'll probably have one set up this weekend, so we can actually do a Hack the Box together, one of the retired Hack the Box videos. So yeah, do stay tuned for that. All right, we have a few other good questions here. What do I do for a living? Well, I am a penetration tester, network penetration tester, as I mentioned in the Hack the Box AMA. So that's what I do. Is it possible to make your own encryption? Yes, it is possible, but you'll have to create your own algorithm. Please make a tutorial for malware analysis. Yes, I am going to be making videos on that. So do stay tuned for that. Will you be doing any videos on report writing and formats? Yes, as I mentioned in the clearing logs video, I will be making a report writing video. All right, we have a message from Mr. GFY. I've been having extremely good luck with SQL injection. Do you see this attack vector lasting much longer, or has the entire web now dependent on these types of databases? That's a very good question, and it's all in relation to PHP and databases. So databases, especially relational databases, are still going to be there for a while, and I would expect SQL injection to exist because programmers are going to be programming websites and they're going to be developing platforms. And really, when you talk about when you talk about web development, which I've been in before, if you're developing a platform from scratch, the mistakes are going to be made, and so it really depends on the developers that are working on the site. But nowadays, you're seeing huge programs like bug bounty programs, allowing many companies to set up these programs and, of course, use them so that they can solve or get rid of any of these bugs. So I think SQL injection will be available for smaller scale websites and websites set up by individuals who really don't know what they're doing exactly. All right, let me check out the other questions here. I'm sorry I'm skipping a lot of the questions. I'll try and answer as much as I possibly can. All right, do you recommend Germany and cybersecurity degree for getting into the hacking industry, application security and pen testing? I'm a student in high school. Yes, well, in terms of a degree, if you are looking to get a degree, I would recommend getting a computer science degree. The cybersecurity degrees right now, I'm not too sure whether they are any good or what they do cover. So I don't really know if I can point anyone there. I'm going to be doing my own research on them, but I think that the best information technology degree you can take, or the computational degrees you can take, is computer science, because it gives you a very, very good introduction into what you're going to be facing. So you'll be taking a look at programming, algorithms, data structures, statistics, all that good stuff. So it'll give you a good introduction into into this world. So if you're looking to study application security, then there are many certifications that you can take a look at. There are the penetration testing certifications like OSCP, etc. All right, that is that. Let's move on to the next questions. By the way, let me know if the stream is the stream quality is still good. All right, let me just take a look here at whether anything is good. All right, so can I do a step-by-step methodology for penetration testing? Yes, that is a good point there. I will be making a video on that. Can I make a video on Android hacking? Yes, those are all series that are in the works. So let me just take a break from the live chat here and let me answer some of the questions that you guys had asked me on Twitter. One of the questions that you guys had asked me in regards to the channel was what is the future of the channel and what type of content am I looking to make as we move along? Well, as I mentioned, we have covered most of the basics on the channel, so I really don't want to stay focused on that. Over the last few weeks in February, I've been trying to get all the videos out of the way, all the basic videos, and start moving on to the more professional or intermediate series like malware analysis and a bit of advanced penetration testing. Many of you have talked about red team operations, so all of that good stuff. So I have the web application penetration testing series still ongoing. We still have the Python and shell scripting ongoing. To start the exploit development once more and take it to the next level as well. And then we have the malware analysis series, which is also on its way. All right, we have another question here, which is a good question. I want to become a network specialist. Please advise what course to take. If you want to become anything or you want to do anything dealing in networks, take the Network Plus first. That should be the introduction for you. It really is a great comprehensive certificate that gives you a lot of information that many people ignore because they think it's sort of like an outdated certificate or a certification, but I really did it for the knowledge and the explanation of how everything works in the OSI model and each of its layers. So yeah, that's primarily what that's primarily why I took that certification. Someone's asking, what is DuckDuckGo? DuckDuckGo is a search engine focused on user privacy and yeah, that's pretty much it. With other search engines, your activities is being logged, is being tracked with your account and your essentially with your particular IP address. And that's what DuckDuckGo is set out to oppose. My current job, as I mentioned, is a network penetration tester. Is it possible to hack an Onion website? Yes, it is possible. There is no difference. The only thing you're doing is you're working on a different abstraction of the internet. That's if you're talking about web applications. We have a good question at the top here. Let's see. Tutorial on ransomware analysis. Yes, that's a very good idea. I have that in mind. I'm not sure which one I'll be taking a look at, so leave your suggestions for what ransomware you want me to analyze. I've been studying a lot about I've been studying a lot of malware analysis over the last few months, so I'm pretty confident that I can give you guys a good solid introduction. Have I ever won a CTF? Yes, I did win a local CTF. As I've mentioned, I don't really participate in some of the international CTFs, mainly because I don't have time, although I am starting to create time for that type of stuff. And I also want to visit many of the conferences. Okay. I am a computer engineering student. Should I go on with networking or for programming? I would recommend starting off with one. Just tackle one at a time. So start off with networking, then you can start off with programming. And the important thing for programming is starting off with one programming language. Don't overcomplicate it and go for two. Just start off with one, master its syntax, and actually develop stuff with that programming language, depending on which one it is. Okay, let's see if I can find another question here. How can I write a simple DNS enumeration Python script? All the tools based on that, like DNS recon, sublist, are hard to understand. So it really depends on what on how you're going to interact with the tools. If you are going to actually utilize tools like sublist and DNS recon, or the DNS recon tool. So if you want to use it from its core functionality, I'm not sure if Python has its libraries, but you pretty much have to pass the raw commands through, or you can look at the code for sublister or DNS recon and understand what's going on, and you can build an abstraction of that on Python. Hi, Hackexploit, what do you think of the new WinRAR bug? The WinRAR bug, that's primarily why I have the browser opened here. So that's what I also wanted to go through with you guys as well. So yeah, I've been taking a look at the WinRAR bug or flaw, whatever you want to call it, and it's right over here. So the latest WinRAR flaw being exploited in the wild to hack Windows computers. So I've been just trying to understand what's been going on. So let me just give you a bit of an introduction. The hacker, the Hacker News reported a 19-year-old remote code execution vulnerability disclosed by Checkpoint in the UNACEV2.dll library of WinRAR that allows a maliciously crafted ACE archive file to execute arbitrary code on the target system. So I do want to analyze and see how this works, although they have patched it. So I'll be looking at installing some of the legacy versions. I haven't gone through it a lot. I actually just read about it a few minutes ago. So yeah. Mr. GFY asks me, what was your first Linux distribution? Just curious, never asked. as much as this would probably anger you, my first distribution was Ubuntu. And it really wasn't a distribution that I chose. As I mentioned, I was in high school, and the computer that I was using in high school had Ubuntu installed. And for me, it was really weird because everyone around me was using Linux, and many of the guys who had their own computers at the time were telling me how bad Linux was, which was really weird because at the time, many people wanted to use Windows because of gaming and stuff. So I pretty much stuck with Ubuntu, and I really enjoyed it. I did see immediately the differences between a Windows operating system and a Linux operating system, and how Linux really is versatile and robust in its functionality. So I hope that answers your question. All right, let's see. I just have a few more minutes that I can spend with you guys. I'm not sure how long the live stream has been going on. It's been going for 21 minutes. All right. So we got another comment here. Let me just see if I can just drag it up here. By the way, let me know if you guys like me doing these. If you like me doing these live streams. All right, so I just won my first CTF first place just a few days ago. I competed against 30-year-olds, and I'm only 16 years old. Well, congratulations, Kit. What exactly was the CTF in regards to what you're doing? Penetration testing, web application security. All right, we have David here asking me. I've done information security and ethical hacking. Please help. I only need experience. I'm not exposed over here. So if I'm guessing you're talking about networking experience, given or judging by your previous question. If you need experience with networking, I recommend, well, I'm not really sure how you intend to get that experience, but well, I'm guessing you're a Kenyan. So yeah, if you want experience, I would recommend starting off learning, setting up the different routing protocols, or actually joining a company as an intern and working as a network administrator, or working as the understudy to a network administrator. But really, as I mentioned, the Network Plus certification will pretty much cover everything that you need to know, and then putting it into practice really can only be done in a working environment. All right. Have I done OSCP? Yes, I have done OSCP, and I just want to clarify one thing that was sort of misunderstood in the Hack the Box AMA, and that many people were seeing that I was sort of endorsing the Network Plus certification over OSCP. In no way did I say that for penetration testing that the OSCP certificate was not as valid or not as valuable as the Network Plus certification. All I said is, if you want to get the full value of the OSCP certification, having a good understanding of networking is really important. It'll make it a whole lot better for you. Do cybersecurity companies allow to be an intern? Yes, they do. It's all about just applying to them and understanding the terms of work. But of course, many beginners really look at getting internships or paid internships, which in the beginning they might not be willing to offer. So if you're looking for an internship and possibly a job, I would recommend just joining them on a free basis, learning how it's all done. If this is your first time working in an organization, that experience itself will really transcend your skill level. And I'm not talking only about penetration testing or network penetration testing or whatever you're doing for the organization. It'll teach you how to work with other people, etc. Is it really possible to hack someone's Facebook account without phishing? The answer to that is yes and no. Well, you know, when you're talking about breaking a system like Facebook or finding potential bugs, in the beginning it was very easy for the, for bug bounty hunters, or at that time we really didn't have any we didn't have any big established bug bounty programs. And given the scale of the website, it was very easy at the time to find common bugs or common misconfiguration issues. So yes, if you do happen to find a bug with Facebook, although it is very unlikely, then you can execute it. But of course, I'm talking about the probability of that happening. Phishing is by far the most successful way of hacking a Facebook account. What are my PC specs? My PC specs are quite standard for today's standard in terms of computing. My processor is an i7-6700. My graphics card is an NVIDIA Quadro K2000 if I'm not wrong. And I have 8 gigs of RAM, which I know is quite low by today's standards, but I've been using this computer for a long time and it's been working quite well. Please recommend some automatic vulnerability scanners. Can you please elaborate further? Are you talking about web application vulnerability scanners or simply network vulnerability scanners? Let's see. My country, well, as probably already know, I cannot really reveal that, but for those of you already know, well, you pretty much know. Okay, so let's see any other questions here. Bro, can you please suggest what I should do after CEH? That's a good question. Many people do CEH and then they really wonder what they should focus on. Well, CEH is an introduction into hacking. That's my view of it. Many people say it's a shitty certificate because they're going into it with really false expectations is the only way I can explain it. So I would recommend after CH understanding what you enjoy doing. So if you like malware analysis, you can focus on those types of certifications. If you enjoy penetration testing, then take the OSCP certification, and you can take a look at the offensive security certifications. Mr. GFY says auto tools are okay, but very hit and miss. Yes, definitely. With automatic tools, you really have to be in control and you really need to specify the parameters you're working with. Automated tools are really good for identifying vulnerabilities or misconfigurations in default installations, but when you have a heavily configured or heavily modified piece of software where they're working with a content management system like WordPress, Drupal or Joomla, then you really need to take manual control. All right, so the answer, yes, thank you for clarifying that. I was talking about web application vulnerability scanners. So web application vulnerability scanners, well, I recommend using the proxies. So you have Burp Suite or Zap, and if you're talking about automated scanners, I would recommend working with Arachne. That is a pretty good one, so definitely take a look at that if you're looking for an automated one. Do you have any OSCP tips? Yes, definitely. Understand networking. Have a good grasp of Linux and its file structure, and also take a very good or close look at privilege escalation, and obviously exploit modification. All right, thank you for all the questions, guys. I really appreciate these are very good questions. I'll try and answer them as much as possible. I have about 5 minutes left, as much as I can spare. Tell us about Termux. A lot of people have been asking me about Termux. I've been studying over the last few weeks about Termux quite a bit because I did lose track of Android hacking. But Mr. GFY is really good with Termux, so you can definitely ask him your questions. I'm not really sure what the question was, but if you could elaborate further, I'm sure we could give you a bit of information in regards to the question you're asking. You're welcome, Mr. Shahrukh Iqbal Mirza. All right, basically, what would you do if you found out a big flaw on your state's administrative infrastructure? Would you tell them, and if yes, how? Where I live, there is a big actual flaw that could be exploited. Well, if you're talking about government websites, then I would recommend reporting it to them. They usually have administrative emails, or you can check up the WHOIS information and look up the administrative email for that particular domain and contact them through there. I wouldn't recommend exploiting anything on a government website because you could be held accountable legally for that, for doing that without any permission. So you just disclose it to them privately. Any recommendation for OSCP training? Yes. That is a good question you've asked me. I have created on GitHub, I'm yet to release it, I've created a list of all the Vulnhub boxes that are really very, very similar to the ones you'll find on OSCP. So I'll be releasing that as well. And I'll be going through them on the channel. So go through those machines and they'll give you a very, very good curve as you enter or as you begin training, taking the OSCP training. What is the difference between CH8, 9, and 10? Well, they're just improvements onto each other and just meeting the newer standards, the newer standards for different bodies or different security bodies. So the OWASP top 10 is constantly being updated. So these are just they're essentially just updating the existing variations and improving them. At least that's what I think. How to become a security analyst? All right, so that's a very, very good question. Not a lot of people ask me that. So if you want to be a security analyst, let me just check that up. I was working on all of these parts, which is again a part of a future platform that I'm working on, which will be released in March. So I'm definitely excited for that. It'll really guide you guys in your career. All right, so let's talk about the other questions, and I'll get to that in a second. Systems analyst, I have it right over here. Let me just find that. Or I haven't actually finished working on, so I'll definitely get back to you on that. I currently have the path for the for incident handlers, the network defenders. We then have the SSCP. We have the CompTIA cybersecurity analyst, which is pretty much very, very similar to what you're asking me. So that is really an administrative certification as far as I've understood it. So you'll be working with policies, the different policies, practices, and procedures. You'll then be working on the access management. You'll be working on secure software development, analyzing and essentially performing network reconnaissance. You'll then look at vulnerability management or implementing the various vulnerability management systems. You'll be working with incident response and handling. And then finally, you have your incident recovery. So I hope that answers your question in regards to being a security analyst. Please upload more videos on blockchain security. Yes, definitely. That's something I've been reading on. It's better for me to actually learn these things myself really, really well before I start making videos of them. It would be really wrong of me if I did that. So do stay tuned for that. I'm still learning a lot of about blockchain. If you notice, I do have the channel cryptosploit.com or cryptosploit on YouTube, which doesn't have any videos. I'll be working on blockchain videos over there as soon as I've finished my intensive training on that. Someone has posted a comment or a question in Hindi here, which I do understand. I'm sorry, I can't hack your girlfriend's Facebook account. I do apologize for that. I do understand Hindi to a certain extent. So is also saying Jati Sharma is asking or saying that he is suspicious of his girlfriend. So I really don't know how to help you there. If you are suspicious, I would recommend just talking to her. That might be a better way of approaching the situation. The SS7 video, if you weren't here before, I have mentioned it. It is going to be released on Vimeo. I'll be posting the link on this weekend. Roger Addison is asking me how I can understand Hindi. That's a good question. I understand how to understand. I have family members who speak the language, and I have friends who have spoken the language. All right, let me see. We have another question in Hindi here, essentially asking me how to open up a cybersecurity audit company. That's a good question. If you want to open up a audit company, you do need to meet some guidelines or some security standards, and the essential process is to register a company, and of course give it a relevant name. And then you obviously want to set up your website. You want to have some good network analysts or systems analysts on board, or penetration testers, and you essentially start getting clients. It's pretty much straightforward. Let's see if we have any other questions here. How about TV broadcast hijacking? That's a good question. When talking about TV broadcast hijacking, it's all dependent on the signal. Now, before, or in the old school days, hijacking a broadcast signal had to do with radio frequency, so that was very different. Of course, now you're dealing with a digital signal. That's if you're talking about cable TV, which is very different. I have to research in that. I can't really explain anything more than that. What's my monthly income? That's something I'm not really at liberty to disclose. Apologies for that. Please make a tutorial on BetterCap. Yes, that is the video that is going to be following this live stream. I've already made the video. It's on BetterCap 2, or I'll probably record. The first one I made was on BetterCap 1, which I didn't release. So the video on BetterCap 2 is coming out as well. Sole provider 1, sorry about that. How much of your time does your job take up? Do you have time for hobbies and such? To be quite honest, I really don't have time for hobbies. It does take up to 14 to 16 hours of my day. So yeah, I have to also allocate time for YouTube as well. So I've been quite busy, but I'll be looking to create some free time for my hobbies as well, like CTFs, etc. How can I find bug host on my ISP? Please help. I'm not sure what you mean. If you could elaborate a bit further. Jati Sharma says, I've been a bad girl. I'm not too sure why. OSCP PWK, is it a good certification? Yes, it is. It's a very good certification. How many minutes do I take to study cybersecurity? I usually take about an hour every day studying new stuff, or the new topics that I want to learn. How to hack Instagram? I really don't know. How to hack Facebook? I'm not quite sure what you're actually referring to. Are you talking about accounts or the actual system? Can I earn $1 million per month? That is a very, very good question asked here. Yes, you can. It is possible. Many people do it. Well, not really. I'm not too sure whether it's per month, but yeah. Alex R says, hi, Alex R. Nice to have you on the live stream. Shubham Mishra asks, have you read any of the Hacker Handbook series? Yes, I have read. Are you talking about the handbook or the playbook? I'm not too sure. Please elaborate a bit further. I'm really not good with book titles, but I have read one of them, or at least a variation of one of them. ProTech Tutorials. Hey bro, how do you manage your time, like making videos and your study and job? Please tell us. I want to know and love your videos. Thank you very much. How do I manage my time? Well, I usually have a schedule set up for each particular day. So if I do have free time, I usually set up that up for YouTube videos and research. So that's pretty much how I manage my time. I have a daily and weekly schedule set up. All right. Mr. GFY says the best way to become good is to love hacking. Definitely true. Ida Tutorials asks me if I'm gay. Well, I'm not gay. So yeah, that's your response, or that's the response to that question. All right, let me just check the last answers. We're definitely going overboard with the live Q&A, but I do appreciate your questions. Do I have a Discord channel? That is asked by Jeffrey. Yes, I do have a Discord channel. I'll be posting it in the description section, or you can find it in the community section or the community tab of the channel. How do I get started bug hunting? This is a question I get a lot, and I can understand why. It looks like a very, very promising niche within penetration testing, more specifically web application penetration testing. So if you want to get started in bug bounty hunting, the only way to get started is to just get started and start analyzing or reading various reports. That's personally how I got started, although as I've mentioned, I do it when I have free time. So I would recommend starting off with sites like HackerOne and BugCrowd, but more so HackerOne. They usually have very, very good reports there that you can read and understand, and then practice them on vulnerable web applications first. Or you can just start by taking or working with the scope of the current companies that are providing or do have bug bounty programs. Do I earn a living from hacking? Yes, in a sense I do. I am a penetration tester, so yes. Mr. Robot Season 4. Well, to be quite frank, I haven't been keeping up with Mr. Robot. Just been really, really busy. So yeah, do let me know how that is going. I really did enjoy the first 2 seasons, which were really quite very well made. Thank you, Paratech Tutorials. I really appreciate that. Ridiculous Tech. Hi there, Hackexploit. Been a good fan of you and learned so much from your channel. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad you get value from the channel. Shahrukh Iqbal Mirza asks for my email address. You can find that in the community or the about section of the channel. It's hackexploit@gmail.com. Sergeant Greedy asks me, how do I manage to get involved with so many programs and tools while trying to learn and teach them on my YouTube channel? Well, usually, as I mentioned, I usually schedule my day. So if I do have free time, I usually schedule it appropriately. So there's time spent on research and then time spent on recording the video, editing it, etc. And I try and allocate about an hour each day for learning. You're welcome, Shahrukh Iqbal Mirza. Is SQL injection still working? Yes, it is. There are very many websites out there that still do have these the SQL injection vulnerabilities. Why did I stop uploading videos on your Hackexploit app, on my Hackexploit app? The application was removed from the Google Play Store, so I really couldn't do anything much there. Dragon says, you're skipping question. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't actually go through your question. Just post it once more so that I can actually read it one more time. Sorry, Jati Sharma. Please shout out. I'm not too sure what that hashtag means, or if it is affiliated with the latest political activity. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I really do not have any political affiliations, so I'm sorry about that. Terry, well, I can't actually say that word. How many women have you penetrated in your career? Well, that's classified. So that's stuff you can't reveal a penetration testing report to anyone. So that's my answer there. So no answers for Pentagon. Yes, I did see your question. The answer is I don't know how to hack the Pentagon, and I wouldn't recommend taking such a cavalier attitude towards it. For my Linux workstation, I buy this tomorrow, an FX 8530. Sorry, I just messed up your message. All right, so an FX 8530. 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM, RX 570. Yeah, that's a good spec machine for penetration testing, definitely. Although in the future, I would recommend increasing the amount of RAM. I'm sorry, I can't keep track of everyone's questions, guys, so I really can't answer all of them. I'm just trying to keep track on all of them, but I'm just trying to go through all the ones. So if you want me to answer your question, just tag me in the comment using my name, so I can actually read them from there if it is an important question. Hacking Tutor asks me a question in Hindi, I believe. The truth is, as I've said, that's personally not one of my agendas, although my personal views on the subject are very universal in the way everyone looks at it. So I'm not really going to get into any political agenda. What's the best operating system for beginners? I think Kali Linux because of its support, but ParrotOS is also very, very good now. All right, let me just go through the earlier messages so that I don't miss anything. Can you please make a video on the best hacking forums? Yes, I will make a video on that. Can Nmap port scanning be recognized as a DOS attack? Yes, that's a good question. The overhead for Nmap scans is very, very high, and if you are working with firewalls or access points that are very, very low or are currently on load, yes, you can crash them, causing a denial of service. Sorry, the comments are just passing me. I believe that was asking me if SSH WireGuard and IPsec work through Tor. Yes, they do work through Tor. You need to pass them through a proxifier or a proxy. Install Kali Linux on VirtualBox. I'm facing a problem connecting with Wi-Fi. If you are, what issue are you facing? Make sure you're using the adapter is a NAT. It's using a NAT connection, or it's using a bridged connection to your actual adapter. What's the best OSCP course? I'm not too sure. They do give you the course. The course that they do give you before you take the OSCP exam is the PWK course, which is the Penetration Testing with Kali Linux course. Hardik asks me, how do you learn penetration testing without money? That's a good question, because I started off that way. I really started off learning about hacking for free through forums. Forums are a great place to meet people who know more than you, and they'll guide you in the right direction. And there are tons of free resources that you can find on Coursera, and there are many free books. There are open source books that you can find out there. I'm compiling some open source books and resources that I'll be posting on GitHub as well, so stay tuned for that. Where to learn assembly language? That's a good question. Again, the place that I found where learning assembly language is through books. That's personally where I understand it the most. I'm not too sure about the other resources. I'll definitely check for that. Yes, 5 minutes have already passed. I know that. I'll probably keep this running for a few other minutes just to make it an hour. So yeah, you can post any other questions. I do appreciate the questions, guys. It's good having such a very good community like this. Any idea on red teaming? Yes, I am making a series on that. They're all coming, trust me. The reason they've been inconsistent uploads, as I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, is I've been working on a new platform for the channel, and once that's released, everything should be back to normal. Gave some advice about where to start your career in networking. As I said, I recommend starting with Network Plus. You don't need the certification. Just read the material or take a course on it, and that'll give you a very good introduction into networking. Then you can look at the other networking certifications. Let me just show you this. This is the resource I've been working on. I don't think I can show you this on the screen right now, but if you're looking for networking skills, then obviously starting off with Network Plus, you can then move on to Security Plus if you are looking into getting into network security, and then there's Network Defense, all that good stuff. So definitely take a look at all of those certifications and their respective material. All right. Mr. Robot says, say something in Hindi. Well, unfortunately, I can't speak it very well, so it would be wrong of me to mispronounce anything. How to get back my domain from GoDaddy? They're asking me to pay 25,000 Indian rupees. I'm not too sure if they are selling you the domain back. I'm not too sure you transferred it from your account or someone did buy it. If someone has bought it, then they're probably charging that much because they knew it belonged to an organization or to you. All right, let me check the earlier questions. How to get your cybersec internship as a computer science uni student, CV projects. Well, this is the tricky thing, because now you need to find people who are willing to give you a chance, because not a lot of people are going to give you that chance. So I definitely recommend just searching a lot and just looking for people you can work under as an understudy. That's the most important bit. Mohammed Shafiq says, I love your voice. Thank you very much. Please answer the question. I'm working on a Pi Zero with the portable hacking, but it is poor integrated Wi-Fi. You can then I'm not too sure about the Pi Zero. Let me just check. The Pi Zero, how many USB adapters or ports does it have? You can probably get a better wireless adapter, probably the TP-Link or the Alpha wireless adapter. Or you can connect it to a USB hub and then get a very, very good wireless adapter. Jati Sharma, the Discord is in the About section of the channel or the community section. You'll find it under one of my posts there. If it isn't available, I will post it here shortly. Just give me a second, guys. Let me just open up my Discord here, and let me see if I can post the invite link. I apologize, for some reason I haven't been able to share it. All right, here is the link. I'll be posting the link, and that is the Discord server. Thank you, Hacking Tutor. I appreciate it. I don't think Russians are good hackers. Russians have good hackers like any other country, but they're more specialized in I wouldn't say black hat hacking because well, I'm really not experienced to talk about it, so I'll just avoid that question. Although they do have a larger population of very skilled hackers. Can you make a video on GNU Radio? Yes, I can. I'm adding all of this to an Excel sheet so that I can work on these videos. I'm 16, and how many years will I be able to reach your level of knowledge? You'll be able to reach my level of knowledge just by reading and learning at a comfortable rate. So definitely just stick to your pace. The goal is really not to compete with people, but to find your own path. Let me just reload the stream on my side because I'm not getting the latest questions for some reason. I will be also, yes, thank you for your question. In regards to assembly books, I don't have the name of the books on me right now. I'll probably post them in the community section, so all my updates will be made through there. Can you make a video on Cobalt Strike? Yes, that is going to be part of the Red Team videos. Is it possible to hack someone with a link if you're talking about social engineering? Yes, you can. Thank you, Azor. Will do. Looks like we're running out of time. I have about 1 minute left. So we have a question about WPA and WPA2. I have a question. So when you try attacking WPA, WPA2, do you need the actual internet to intercept the attack? No, you can do it unauthenticated to the network. All you're doing is working from your adapter. Would you suggest Cybrary.it for Network Plus? Yes, I would recommend, although they don't have as good as an explanation as I would recommend, but they are a very good introduction into Network Plus, especially a free resource. How experienced are you with RF? Sadly, I'm not really experienced with RF, although I do, as I said, these are things that I do want to improve in. They seem very, very interesting very, very interesting to me. Do I use database fuzzers? I guess that's the question. No, not really. I prefer working manually with databases if I am performing tests on them. Fuzzers usually can cause some damage, so I don't really work with them, at least not on an automatic level. All right, so I think that's pretty much all I have time for the live stream. Thank you, Christopher Ratier. I'm not too sure if I pronounced that correctly, but thank you, and greetings to Brazil. And thank you for joining me, everyone, on the live stream. I really appreciate the questions. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to answer everyone's question. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be seeing you in the next video, which should be uploaded later on tonight. Thank you very much. Bye.